se fue.
This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action.
This is Mark Waid, writer of Superman Birthright.
And you're listening to The Krypton Report.
And you're listening to Krypton Report.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird.
It's a plane! It's the Krypton Report!
The All Things Kryptonian podcast, including Superman and Supergirl.
We discuss games, movies, cartoons, TV shows, and comics.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Welcome to the Krypton Report. And happy Batman Day, James.
Happy Batman Day, Tyler.
This is a special Krypton Report for Batman Day. We are going to be reviewing, commentating, and discussing Batman Begins. One, because it was the 15th anniversary this year, and two, it's a special celebration for Batman Day. Now, I don't know about you, James, but I'm sitting here in my Batman pajama pants, my Batman t-shirt, and my Justice League blanket that has Batman, with my wife's Batman coffee mug.
Well, dang.
Yeah.
So I don't have as much Batman paraphernalia that you do.
That's because I like Batman too. I'm not a hater.
Oh yeah, I mean I have plenty. I've got a Batman blanket which the kids had used, so I'm actually not positive where that is right now. What else? My ex, she had some shirts and things. They don't fit me though because I'm a much bigger person. And
it's that big heart of yours, and all those gym workouts you do. Got it all.
Yeah, be like a little belly shirt on me or something. What else? I know I got some other Batman stuff around here besides the movies and games and trades. I got plenty.
Yeah, I mean, every year is always kind of nice to do stuff. They have.
Got my Zack Snyder Justice League shirt on underneath my big old thermal shirt here. I love getting these cool mornings.
I do too. I actually woke up this morning very happy. I'm like, man, this is it. I'm like, this is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite times of year. Fall is like my favorite season. And I love when it's like getting to that transfer to fall when the season's changing. It's starting to get dark a bit earlier. I don't like it when it's light out super late. If I'm out doing something, I like it, but just like in general, I don't like when it's light out super late, but I also, of course, don't like when it's dark out by the time I get off of work. So,
yep.
It's a nice middle ground there. It's nice when it gets dark and, especially like during the summer, kids don't want to go to sleep when it's still light out.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Yeah.
Their rationale but it's sun's out, Daddy. I want to stay up. But yet, that doesn't work when you're like, it's dark now.
Can't
go to sleep.
Them. You can't blame them. I mean, when I was a kid, it was a sensible argument.
Yeah, I mean, and I try to abide by that, making their bedtime and stuff a little later. Because I get it too. Like, it's so weird, like, the sun's out, Daddy.
Yeah. And, the cool nights, so comfortable to sleep in. You can be comfortable and you can still wrap up in a big blanket. And then it's warm days. You can still go outside. You maybe have a hoodie on in the morning, but, by midday, you don't need it.
Yep,
you don't need it for the rest of the day, and it's all nice and warm. You still get the sun. Yeah, it's a great time.
Like, honestly, we went to bed last night. It was warm in the house, and about 3, 4 in the morning, I woke up because Sayla was crying. She was having a bad dream, and I kicked the heat on because it was like really cold in the house. I was like, wow. I was like, dang. But I was like, that's pretty cool though. I can deal with that. But we are going to be watching Batman Begins. And I would like to just throw that this film in our house is also called Dark Knight Scarecrow, because that's what Solomon likes it. And I actually, I like it. That's how we classify the movies. We got Dark Knight Scarecrow, Dark Knight Joker, Dark Knight Bane.
Nice. It makes sense. I mean, they do call it the Dark Knight trilogy.
I'm like, I like it,
I mean, it's funny. It's the Dark Knight trilogy because like the Dark Knight is the best film and like one of the most iconic films, like especially of these movies. But I still think that this is the better Batman movie.
Yes. So this is my favorite Batman movie, Batman story. I think The Dark Knight is a better film, but when we get to The Dark Knight, by that time it becomes so much more about all the characters. This one is much more Bruce centric, which works in a trilogy or a series. Like, this one really introduces your hero character, focus on them so that you can expand the story when we get to the next movie. So
right.
But
so yeah, this is probably my favorite live action Batman movie. It's all about it's all about Bruce, him becoming Batman, like the impact Batman has on like the police force and the criminals and stuff like that. The fear he spreads, like it's pretty Batman centric, even though Batman doesn't show up until after the first hour.
It kind of shows you more of like it's who Batman is as far as the person. And I'll get more into why I like this one as we go, but I'm with you. Like, this is my favorite live action Batman.
Yeah. So yeah, being my favorite live action Batman movie, it's funny though. Yeah, movie, because Bale is probably, if you throw Conroy in there, is probably like my fourth favorite Batman. So, because I mean, it's really an argument for the top three Batman. Like, it could be either three of them be 1, 2, and 3, but I mean, it would probably be like Ben Affleck, Kevin Conroy, and then Michael Keaton before Bale.
Yeah.
So
I like Keaton. I don't love Keaton, but I like Keaton. I've liked him. I've come to like him more as time has gone on. But yeah,
he definitely was unique, and I do feel that Bale, when he became Batman, or we can get into this and talk about it as it goes. But when he became Batman, when he finally decided to do something about it, because he didn't do anything until he was a grown up, until he was an adult, till he left for school. Mm-hmm. He didn't make a choice in this one to do that. Basically, he just, he lived a depressed life and, felt sorry for himself. Granted, I mean, it's an incredible tragedy what happened to him, but like his entire life from the time he was, I don't know, how old you say this kid is in this movie? 10, 11 years old, 11 years old, maybe. This kid seems definitely maybe 11 or 12. Like he seems right around my son's age. But from the time that happens till the time he finally gets smacked in the face by Rachel, I mean, he's just, I mean, he might as well be the depressed emo kid. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll get into it more. Excuse me. But let's get this ready. I'm sure you have plenty of Batman Day activities planned. kids and I are gonna put on costumes, run around the house. You know, I got my
Nice. I'm
Batman.
gonna put my Bane mask on and break my kid's back already.
I got. I bought. I'm not a huge I'm not a digital person as much, but man, they like 90% off on some of these digital like stuff on DC. So I bought Batman Ego for $5, and it's like 200 and some pages, and I'm like, okay. It's one of the comics that Matt Reeves had referenced, inspiring for The Batman.
Oh, was that the Dwayne McDuffie Ego that you
It's
sent a picture of?
It's Darwin Cook.
Or Darwin Cook.
Yep. And I love his art, and I've enjoyed his writings, And it's one of those stories I had seen, but like I never knew.
Just had Dwayne McDuffie on the brain.
Probably. Because like the other one I thought about buying is Tom King's The War of Jokes and Riddles, because that was a really good story of like the Joker and the Riddler battling in Gotham. But it was all like told kind of like flashback type, and like Kite Man actually has a really unique story in that volume. And then they had the Golden Age Batman collection, Volume 1. And I'm like, but Ego I've only been able to find for like $30 in trade. So I was like, I'm like, that's gonna be my the Happy Batman Day to Tyler. That's my book, and I was like, I'm gonna purchase this, and that's gonna be my Batman Day book, and we're gonna check out. I think throughout the day we're gonna watch an episode of like each one of the Batman TV series and cartoons, and kind of just enjoy the day.
Right. Well, I know I'm gonna watch some Batman 66 today. I really enjoyed. I've been wanting it for a while, and I just really enjoyed Ray talking about it over there on DC TV. And I was on my way to work listening to it, and at a stoplight, I brought up my Amazon Prime video and bought the first season while I was at a stoplight. I was like, all right, I'm watching this later. So I've watched a handful of episodes now, and I'm gonna watch some more today. I got to finish my Detective Comics 1027.
I just finished that last night or the night before. I can't remember one of them.
Yeah, well, I mean it's thick. There's a lot of pages in it, and sometimes with these short stories, since they're all short stories, they're really exposition heavy. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
you just take your time, and I always take my time when I read comics. I always because
I try to do it twice.
I'm such an admirer of the art. I piece together the story with the art and not just the narrative and stuff. So
because sometimes I get excited and I read through like the narrative and kind of just look at the art. But then I go back and it's like I read it once for the words and read it a second time for the art.
Right.
But I was going to say,
makes sense. I got to try and do that. I just can't I can't separate the two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can't just read through all the words and then without attaching it to the pictures, without seeing what it's telling me about the pictures and what the pictures are telling me about either the narrative, the exposition, or the dialogue, what's happening, or just the action.
I think, I don't know, I'd have to check, but at one point in time Batman 66 was on the Roku channel. So if anyone has the
it was last time I knew. I don't know if it still is.
I own just Volume 3. I bought Volume 3 on DVD back when BVS came out, because I was like, they had that sale, and it came like all these DC properties came with like $5, $8 tickets to go see BVS. Through Movie Magic or Movie Makers or whatever it was. And I was like, I'm going to see this movie at least twice in theaters. I ended up seeing it 5, but that's a whole nother story I've talked about before. But I'm like, I don't own this. $10 for the DVD set minus my $5 ticket. Oh, that's $5 for brand new volume of. And I ended up buying Batman 66 Volume 3 because that's the one with Batgirl. and I end up buying Gotham season 1.
I want that. They're not too expensive on Amazon Prime. Like, you get the whole season for like $15. So it's not too bad to buy the whole thing for like. It ended up being, I think, $60, which I'm gonna do here. I might end up buying the rest of them later today.
It's definitely
But I
a
do
series
want-
that I like, but I don't love. I have an appreciation for, but I have to be in the mood for.
I mean, it was my first Batman, you know. I remember seeing it on TV and in reruns and stuff when I can barely remember anything else. You know, so it was my first Batman, but also I was so young that the first influential Batman I had was Michael Keaton.
Yeah, that's the same here. I mean, it's right there, and then it's like that's our generation, man. It's like 66 reruns on FX, 89, and then returns in the animated series.
Yep.
And then
Exactly.
that's like the childhood, and then like the you know, and then into Forever, which is my other second favorite like live action Batman movie, just because I have such love and fond memories and like nostalgia for that movie. But let's get into this movie.
Yes.
All right, everybody. I am watching it on Blu-ray. James has it on DVD because we are big components of physical media.
Yep. And I haven't gotten the Blu-ray trilogy yet or I haven't gotten the Blu-ray set of the Dark Knight trilogy yet.
But I'll say if I didn't own
I may
them,
just
I would-
upgrade to. I may just wait and just when I finally get there, just get the 4K. It probably is on 4K, but I don't know.
I want to say yes, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not, I'll get the Blu-ray. That's fine, but I
Dark
mean,
Knight
I
was
might
one
as
of
well
the-
wait. 'Cause,
Dark Knight
well,
was
like,
one
I
of
don't
the
have
first
a
Blu-rays
4K
I ever
Blu-ray.
had.
Right. No, the first Blu-ray I got was Captain America: The First Avenger. I didn't even have a Blu-ray player, but I was like, I'm gonna get a Blu-ray player, so I'm gonna buy this combo pack, and I'll watch the DVD until I get a Blu-ray player,
That's
and
smart.
then
That's,
I
that's
have
the
a
beauty
Blu-ray.
of the combo packs. That's why I'm a big supporter of combo packs.
Yeah, I was mad when they stopped doing that, and I think it was right at Thor 2, The Dark World.
Yeah, Marvel
When they stopped
that.
doing that, yeah, I was pretty upset. I was like, well, looks like I'm not buying too many more of you Marvel movies for the time being.
Because I think that was a Disney move. If I think so. No, because
I think they were the first ones to do it.
no, I'm just thinking because like the Avengers was still technically released with Paramount. It was like a Disney Paramount joint release.
Okay.
I think
I think it might have been because of the Hulk being such a main character in it.
because it was the last one that had been like made and produced like right before the Disney or right as the Disney acquisition or whatever. So like, but then the first full-fledged Disney like owner of Marvel was Iron Man 3, and I think that's where it right
Or
around.
was it Universal that had the Hulk?
It was
Or has the
Universal
Hulk?
that
I
had
can't
the
remember.
Hulk because it was Universal that had distributed the Hulk, and then
Oh, so
Paramount
my
had
bad.
done
Yeah.
had done Thor and Captain America and Iron Man. I think
Oh, okay.
it was right there, but like when it was just Marvel Studios working with other studios for distribution.
Right.
Because it was Paramount, I think, that distributed the Avengers, but then that was I don't know, I can't remember. But anyways, yeah. I just remember, like, yeah, with you, because I remember thinking, like, oh man, when I bought Thor for sure, because I eventually bought Iron Man later, Iron Man 3. I bought it used because I wasn't too thrilled about running out and buying that one. But let's get into this movie. We are now 20 minutes into this beautiful Batman Day podcast. The sun is shining. It is a great fall-esque day. Fall is coming, people. And
Yeah, not there yet.
let's get started. I'm surprised my daughter is still asleep. She was tired. But we are at 000, the black and white Warner Brothers, a Time Warner company. Logo is up. Gear up your means of viewing.
On my DVD, I'm at 10 seconds.
Really? See, mine,
Yeah.
it just counts the minutes. I just noticed that. It doesn't count.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was like, wait a minute. So think about that. 10 seconds. Yeah, mine, I was like, because I was looking at it like, what? But yeah, I realized it only counts the minutes. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then play on what would be the fourth beat. Are you ready, James?
I am.
1, 2, 3, play.
Boom, boom.
I just remember, like, so we have this logo for the DC animated or DC films, and I think only Batman Begins, Superman Returns use that style of DC logo, and The Dark Knight.
Sounds about right.
I love this.
I love how that's the bat is just like all the bats in the background.
You know what?
It was a pretty cool thing that he did for the title card in these movies.
Oh, I love the title card, like how it's just kind of like the bat, and then it's like.
But you know what? It was
color
basically
scheme.
the start, right? It does. Yeah, it is the color scheme of each film. It was this movie. The Nolan movies here was basically like the end of your opening title sequence. It was like after this, and when Arrow came on and stuff, where it was just
title cards.
a quick title card, and then get back to the show, which is cool. But I also miss the title sequences sometimes for certain things.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's why like with BVS is an interesting kind of blend of like scenes with credits and.
Yeah. Nobody tells a story in a visual style like Zack Snyder.
That's true, and I don't think anyone else has really been able to pull off a non-linear film the way Christopher Nolan does. I mean,
right.
This film, for example, it is kind of linear, but it uses some unique flashbacks in the early part. Prestige, which is my favorite Nolan film.
Yeah.
Memento, of course.
Definitely.
Memento is great.
That's one I haven't seen.
Man, it is definitely. I need to rewatch it.
I've heard its praises for years. I want to check it out.
We should just watch it and just Skype talk and watch it together.
So this is an interesting opening for a Batman movie. You got Bruce Wayne in a prison, and he wakes up from his dream, which basically, you kind of think it's like the Batman origin, but he wakes up and it's like a dream. You don't really get to see what he experienced from falling in that well at the time.
I think it's interesting that, I don't think people understand the significance. Sometimes I think it gets overlooked of just how different this film is, how groundbreaking it was. Because this was so weird. I remember being in theaters watching this. I went to the midnight premiere and just, having the kind of in the background, the Michael Keaton Batman idea. And then, like
for
this,
protection.
I don't need protection. I want protection from them.
I don't need protection. Protection for them. Yeah, I love it. Sorry,
yeah.
I like that part.
No,
I
I'm
interrupted
saying,
you.
No, you're fine. Dude, it's a commentary. That's what we do. I just thinking like how just weird this is. Like as a movie, like how and just like because the first time I watched this, I liked it, but I didn't love it because I didn't know what to think of it. And like I only watched it the one time, and then when it came out, I remember I was at Best Buy and I was there, I think, to buy a Mest album, and it had come out the same day, and I grabbed it on DVD. I was like, okay, Batman, cool, I like this enough, and I watched it, and then it's the one over time that I've just like it's just matured, and I've just come to appreciate and love more and more and more.
Yeah, I really appreciate its its version of telling the story, its unique use of the flashbacks, and I appreciated the grounded take that it used. It was really like really almost like what could be if a person had the resources to become Batman.
I mean, just the dialogue,
almost.
the dialogue of just the idea of the symbol. A vigilante is just a person running and is scared, but a symbol. Like everything they're talking about, like just in this quick discussion between Ra's al Ghul and Bruce Wayne, is just like heavy, and it's just like, yeah, like all right. And I mean, this movie changed the superhero landscape forever. And I've always said that if Green Lantern had come out in 2007, it would have been a hit. It would have been a lot more loved than it is, because this movie came out, and like as big as it was very under the radar. Like, because it was very like, it was praised, but it wasn't a huge, massive success. Because it was The Dark Knight that really changed it. Because I mean, just from a visual, this movie shot different.
Movie cost so much. Like
this movie shot a little different with the colors. There's a little bit more darker colors. There's a little bit more of the gold hues. When we get to the Narrows, like that was built on some of the Narrows was built on a set. The cave was a set. We're traveling a little bit more with him. In this part here,
this little mountain village, man, it's so cool.
I'm cold just looking at it.
Like the way that people adapt to be able to live in a place like that,
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it's just
like,
I mean, it's impressive. It's admirable to, just the way that people can live just about anywhere.
This movie is grounded, but like The Dark Knight is like grounded.
Yeah. I mean, that honestly, that like, it was really cool, but over time that's kind of detracted it for me. Like, it's still like a great film, and the performances, the characters, and Heath Ledger's Joker. I mean, there's so much iconography, and it's just such a huge staple film in comic book history, comic book movie history these days. But I think the fact that it got, and I appreciated it then, but I think over time I've come to appreciate it a little bit less, because it went so hard in the grounded way when this was grounded, but
blend.
it was,
to me,
it was a blend. It was a nice blend. There was a little bit of the fantastical, a little bit, a little bit of the Batman comic, fantasy, but yeah, that one just went like, nope, none of that, not anymore.
I mean, and like I said, a lot of it's based on the settings. I appreciate it. I like the way The Dark Knight was filmed, like very handheld camera in real places, no sets, all locations. Which is great, but at the same time, it's like
Gotham was just a city too,
right?
Gotham wasn't
a
personality of it. Gotham wasn't a character in its own. Like, it was pretty much that in this. I mean, it didn't have like the gothic, things that we associate with Gotham, but it was still like a character in and of itself. It wasn't a place that you would normally see.
Right.
Except for maybe in some isolated areas of these big cities.
And, it's just like, I don't know. It's the same problem I have with, Superman the movie, being like, it's Metropolis, but yet you're like, that's New York. And this is like, it's Gotham, but yet that is Chicago.
Yeah.
And that's why, that's one thing I'm really excited about from Matt Reeves is like, it's filmed in Liverpool.
Right.
And
they're using the special effects and the CGI to enhance it.
And
you know, to
it's not something I'm familiar with, you know, so it's not like
well, yeah, I mean, it would be a place like Liverpool would have its own unique architecture, and then they're going to enhance that with the CGI and things, is what Reeves said, and I mean to make it look like a Gotham we would recognize, with probably some Gothic architecture and different things like that.
and that excites me a lot.
Nanda Parbat in this, I thought was really cool. The League of is it the League of Shadows in this, or is it Assassins?
It's the Shadows. In this, it's it's Shadows.
You know, sometimes it's named so many different things in different mediums, you know, because of like kids and stuff, and so
I like the League of Shadows. It just sounds cool because it sounds a little bit more mysterious,
right?
And like League of Assassins,
like
you pretty much know what they are.
Yeah, I like how in this, you know, they use it like, yeah, we've existed all throughout time. You know, we sacked Rome, this and that. I'm like, that's really cool. Like the idea of this organization that keeps these civilizations in check, you know, to not let the corruption and stuff get out of hand. It's very interesting, and you know, these days it could be useful. Anyways,
no, I mean it's great.
I like
the city, and I mean, like right here we hit the monorail train, you know, which kind of gives that fantastical about the cheap public transportation unique to the city his dad's talking about. You know, we're seeing Wayne Tower. This is a little bit more like, this is probably the best, like, other than like movie young Bruce Wayne, just because he actually is a character. And yet this is the worst, like, Martha. Like, just because like she like doesn't say anything, but yet has the opportunity to, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's horrible, is because like right here on the train, like she just kind of smiles and does this. Like, you could have given her a line or two of dialogue here, you know. Like,
I mean,
it's just so awkward because she doesn't talk.
The movie is so much about. I mean, it's supposed to be about the parents, you know, but they focus on the father.
And, you know, that's one thing, like, with Superman is, like, his father, like, you know, was always more important, almost like the death in his father. And, you know, his mother, like, carried on, you know, in his life.
Yeah, which is why I like BVS, because his mother is that important component in his life. Who he goes to, who he calls in the middle of the night, who he goes to, you know, to talk to when he needs to have somebody who just, you know, has no opinion about him and about what he does, you know, who just loves him and wants the best for him.
Man, like, this is just such a...
The actor who plays his father in this, though, I like him. He's really good in a lot of other stuff.
This might be my favorite Thomas Wayne. Like, I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan, but, like, he didn't really get any lines.
If we would get time with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, definitely, I bet. you know, but, yeah, for sure. I mean, the more you get to interact with a character, I mean, you never do with the Waynes. They're there to die. But in this, you know, there's a little bit of life. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of life in them, and a little bit of relationship with Bruce.
We need that to really, like, and the fact that his father's last words is, "Don't be afraid."
Right.
And like he's sitting there in that classic Frank Miller, you know, year one image.
And Bruce kneeled down and both of his parents on the ground right there.
In a back alley, you know, behind the theater. And I love the line, you know, like a little bit of opera.
See, like you don't see an alley like that anywhere.
I love this. Okay, this is something that one of the reasons I'm not a huge year one fan is I like that Gordon. I would have made Gary Oldman shave his mustache here or digitally took it out or something, no Cavill stuff, but
you can't digitally take out mustaches.
or something in the production, like film this last or something, because I like. Solomon showed me something awesome on his Nerf gun. I like the idea that Bruce forms this bond and connection with Gordon at a young age. I like that, I like the idea of Gordon being a rookie cop when this happens to Bruce.
Yeah.
I don't like Gordon coming from like Chicago and just starting in Gotham, because who comes to Gotham? I like for Gordon to be
somebody has to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but for Gordon to be such a like believer of the city, I think it just works better when he is from the city.
Yeah, I mean, I think the proponent of a person who believes in injustice, when that's like the biggest belief in their life, a place like Gotham would certainly test that, so if somebody were to come to Gotham to be a police officer, you know what I mean? Like, this is one of the worst places, and, it needs some of the best people, you know what I mean? So either way, I mean, I do like that Gordon's, I do like this and it's just such a small connection too,
Mm-hmm.
Him putting that coat around him and talking. I mean, that's probably one of the best parts in The Dark Knight Rises, when he reveals to him who he is, and he tells him that can just be somebody who puts a coat around a young man and tells him, what, I forget the exact line, that the world isn't ended or whatever. It's just such a small thing, but it meant a lot.
What's interesting is, like, I know that you have watched several times, Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Yes.
And it's the line where Ben Affleck is talking as, his character. And he talks about, when you're younger, you watch this and you see yourself as Bruce Wayne. He's like, then you become a parent and you get older, and like you watch it and you think about, no, I'm Thomas Wayne. And it's
right.
like, sometimes I watch this stuff now and I'm just like, man, like, now I think about it as, like, I'm Thomas, like, and then I think about like Solomon, like what he would deal with, like if.
Right. So I like this training sequence a lot.
Yes.
It's really cool. It's really unique. The ninjutsu, the theatricality, the weapons training, all this kind of stuff. It's really awesome. The one thing so like when these movies were coming, like this movie and The Dark Knight and stuff, they used this, because obviously, everybody knows if they listen. I love watching and learning the special features behind the stunt work, the athleticism, the training these people go through, the actors and the stunt people, just to bring this stuff to life. I mean, how Bale is a small tangent on that. How Bale went from The Machinist, and he was like 95 pounds. And he was skin and bones, and then he got back up to almost 220 pounds for this role immediately after. I mean, that right there, that in itself is one of the things that really made me enjoy Bale as an actor. How seriously he takes roles, and he would put himself through that, and that he actually got too big, too heavy for the role in this film. That's why he's much leaner come The Dark Knight. But the fighting style that they used for these movies is this I forget what, I think it's French.
I cannot remember the name of it.
Fighting. It was kind of designed. I mean, French is kind of like where I think maybe it originated or something, but it's kind of, I believe it was like based on a I know I can't remember the term for it, but the new term for it, but gypsy,
like a K
gypsies
or something.
Yeah, the fighting style though is this fighting style where it's designed to it is designed to fight back against multiple opponents. The fighting style, as they were describing it, as the guy who trained him in the style, was it's a fighting style that's designed for you being jumped and being able to get back up to your feet and continue fighting back.
And wasn't it like for like the way you apply force is like maximum force? So like it's not for
to injure, it is to hurt.
Yeah, it's not to be like, it's not a fighting style where you do it to continue fighting. It's like this is how you put your opponent down. Yeah,
it's designed to end a fight. It really is, and that's what Batman would do. He does not want. And I'd said this back during the Martha rescue, too, when people got all upset about that. Batman does not want somebody coming back up behind him to shoot him in the back of the head. Like, when he puts you down, he wants you down so that when he turns his back, you are not getting back up. Plain and simple.
I love the use of the flashback right here where, now we're at the older Bruce coming home, from school, talking to Alfred. Like, during this training sequence with Ducard, like we haven't talked much about Ducard, who, surprise, is really Ra's al Ghul in disguise and everything. I love how they're just telling so much story. Like, not a moment is wasted in this movie. There's not really a scene I think you can cut out of this without losing something powerful and everything.
Yeah, it's probably why it's such a good Batman movie. It's very impactful, very strong to the character of Bruce Wayne.
And that's what we need. This movie needs to be focused on Bruce. It needs to sell us on who he is, why he has his mission, develop him so that in the next film, when it's chaos and we have larger than life villains, it's okay because we've already spent this film with Bruce.
Yeah, and it really got to the core of the reason Bruce is doing this is the crime on the streets.
A flashback, already Inception right here.
the crime in the streets, just the poor person who killed his parents, and then at this point, the mob boss who is so powerful that he's corrupted all these people, these cops and these judges, and who just keeps good people down and keeps bad people rich.
I liked Bale. Like, I remember when they cast Bale, and I watched, the only movie I really knew him from, that I knew him from, was Equilibrium at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that like, okay, he can be Batman.
Right. I'm gonna go back one second. Just like when you see Batman fighting in this movie and other movies, like some of the action in these movies, just because of the shaky cam and like the idea was to like be in the fight. I understand that, and I know
think
that
some of it is it's Nolan's inexperience at fighting in action. Not to sound because he excels on the drama and the suspense and the storytelling, but I think part of it is his inexperience with action, and that's why you find now, like, you have this new kind of class of action directors in the sense of like where like Stahelski kind of came from, where they're the coordinators of all the fights, but now they're working more almost directing the action scenes while you have the main director doing the story. Because if I remember, was it this film or The Dark Knight? I'm trying to remember. I think it's this one. Nolan oversaw every shot. Like there was no second unit. It was just Nolan on everything.
Yeah.
And like for his first time big budget Hollywood production, like that's interesting because like he had more control over this film.
Right. But you'll notice, like, when he's fighting and stuff, how his hands are always up, and he's fighting, he's fighting with his elbows and things, it's really close combat, and
Yes.
getting in there and getting in there and just putting the people down really quick. And that's the style of fighting. But, yeah, I mean, the action in these movies, yeah, it's a little bit hit and miss. But I liked Katie Holmes as Rachel Dawes. I mean, her career is a little hit and miss about her performances and then the movies she's in. But I thought she did a decent job for the role of Rachel Dawes in this, playing the assistant director or the assistant DA, playing Bruce's friend, and potential love interest.
Yep.
I mean, was Maggie Gyllenhaal a better actress? Yeah. It was a little shocking changing the actress around, recasting her.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would have liked to see what Katie Holmes did in that film. She ended up, she would have ended up not continuing forward. So, I mean, if the plan was to kill her anyways, I mean, it would have been nice to just have that consistency of character. But Katie Holmes is also from Toledo, Ohio, so where I live and grew up. So I've kind of had I've always had this little connection and, I mean, a crush on her since I was freaking watching Dawson's Creek as a little teenager.
Oh, sweet James.
So maybe I'm too influenced, not impartial enough.
He's like, yeah. I used to really hate her in this, but now I've come I don't mind her as much. She's all right. I prefer Gyllenhaal's performances and stuff, but she's not bad.
No, I did not think her performance in this was bad.
Good job, Solomon. Look at that. Hold on, I just want to say that Solomon is celebrating Batman Day by
Nice.
he is pouring his sister a cup, and he chose a Batman cup.
Awesome. Good boy. This scene here between her and Bruce, she was passionate about talking about her, about Bruce's parents. Like, you could see the admiration she had for his parents when she was talking about it. And then how right here, Falcone was, one of the reasons
Yes.
for their death and why the city is still rotting from underneath. And then when she sees him with the gun and she smacks him, she sells that whole scene.
Yes. So this works in the story that Nolan is telling. Okay? This works. But the one issue that I have with this film is the idea of Batman is the idea of a 20-some-year-old man, not that dedicated child. Because part of the idea of Batman is the idea of that child after having the influence of the film he saw and just how that plays on the child's psyche and the classic candlelight promise, of what he's going to do. So,
Right.
And right here we start talking about, just one thing I love and I appreciate so much in this film is by starting this movie with villains that we have not got in any live action, and the fact that the villains are
the mob and the corrupt, corrupt police and things like that.
Yes, and then you have Ra's al Ghul and you have the Scarecrow.
Right.
And they play into the story perfect. The villains serve a purpose to the story you're telling, but they're not overshadowing the character of Batman.
I like
they're
this scene here. Sorry.
No, you're
Go
fine.
ahead.
No, it's a commentary. We told that. That's what we do.
No, I know. I like this scene here because this scene here is what gives. And you're talking about him being a kid and stuff, and like I said, he's like the emo teen. Like, is he in college here, or
Yeah.
is he
He's in college because they
in
talk about
boarding school? You know what I mean?
I'm sure it's okay. Hold on. We
Like,
can do
is
some math.
Bale trying to play like an 18, 19-year-old person who
Was he
maybe is
gone
in their
for
early
8
stage
years?
of college?
Was he gone for 8 years? Right when he sees Alfred again, is that what they say?
7 years, maybe.
So that
I don't
puts
have
him.
I don't have my subtitles on, so
I have him on.
I'm just kind of listening to it behind me. I forgot to turn them on before I started.
I turned mine on, and it's just easier with kids and stuff. But I think when he shows
I
up,
usually do. This was a mistake. It was a mistake on my part this time. They're almost always on. I usually watch them on anyways.
I like even the actor that plays the homeless guy. I've seen him in other things, and he's really good. Like, every actor is a high caliber, even for the smallest roles. And I love he disappears. And I think Alfred says we'll say 8 years, and we'll wait till it gets there. But even if Alfred says 8 years, that puts him right now at like 22. So let's say anywhere between 21 and 23 is where Bruce is right here in this scene where he decides to run away.
Right.
Because we know he turns 30 at the end of this movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that's kind of
that.
our right here.
Yeah. But the idea I was going for was that scene with Falcone. I mean, that literally gives him the push to figure out how to become what he is. It gives him the idea of that if he wants to not be afraid and fight back against corruption, he's got to get into it. He's got to learn about it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Not just from the outside of what, you see on the news, this and that. He gets in and he lives it. I mean, that's what pushes him. And the idea of fear, was put into him by Falcone, and how he learns to use that fear. And then here in Nanda Parbat, I don't think they ever call it Nanda Parbat, but that's what I'm going with.
They don't. That's fine with me, because I was thinking about that earlier. Like when he was climbing.
And right. So I think that scene was very good. It's very important to the story and the theme of this movie. And you talk about Ducard here. I almost wonder, because the League of Assassins or the League of Shadows have been around for so long, that Ra's al Ghul is just a moniker. I honestly wonder if the guy on the chair is not the Ra's al Ghul right now, and Ducard is the second in line. And when he dies, and Ducard is saved, Ducard becomes Ra's al Ghul. He's not Ra's al Ghul now, but he becomes Ra's al Ghul because it's just a moniker for who's in charge.
Right.
Why is Ra's al Ghul immortal? Because there's always a Ra's al Ghul.
I've wondered that too. Like, I think there's evidence for both arguments throughout the movie. I think we could go either way, but it's a way of around the idea of the immortality. Like, kind of like the Phantom. Billy Zane's the Phantom. That comic character is like, he's the ghost who walks. He's always alive because it's a tradition passed down from father to son. There's always a Phantom. Doesn't mean that the Phantom is the same person. But what I want to say is all that you're talking about. But the one thing you to remember is Bruce still has his morality, in the sense of when he stole the food so he didn't starve, he stole it, but then he did share it to a hungry child. So he's not like selfish in his action. And then when he does the heist, it's against Wayne Enterprises. So technically he's stealing from himself.
Yeah. He said he says, I'm not stealing. It's like, I'm not a thief. Tell that to the owner of these. Well, I am the owner of those, but not that know, or I want you to know.
Exactly. So he's still finding a way to be good and understand and be part of everything.
Yeah, it's very well thought out. He doesn't cross that line for being a criminal. He lives the life, but he's not crossing that line because he's being involved and planning in what's happening, and he's stealing from himself.
Exactly.
So,
He's an intelligent man. Like, excuse me. This movie is very well thought out. And what's funny and kind of sad at the same time is like Solomon goes, Daddy, it's good, but it's kind of boring sometimes. And I'm like, yeah.
I can understand that very much so for a child.
And that's why, like, this is one of those movies that didn't really have a whole lot of toys and stuff. Like, I own a mask from this movie because I remember finding it at Kroger after Halloween in the discount rack. I was like, okay, cool Batman mask. I was like, it's probably like my favorite because it's like a cowl. I'll send you a picture of it later.
Yeah.
Because it's a cowl, but it's not a full cowl, and it's rubber. It's not one of the plastic like masks that you find now. So
right. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, you said something. I think I forgot.
I mean, even right here, like
merchandise. Yeah. So I don't think I had anything, because I really wasn't buying toys at this time, figures or anything. I did get the game to play the game, which was really cool. It was like one of the first kind of games that, helped to introduce this extra level of something involved in the game, that level of fear, that you used fear to be able to surprise your enemies and things like that. They did it pretty well. It was probably one of the better Batman games over the years, or at least one of the decent Batman games over the years, because these movies are all hit or miss. And then when this movie came out on DVD, I bought the box set that comes with a comic book.
I remember that.
I got it right here in my hand, and it's stories that inspired this movie. The Man Who Falls, writer Denny O'Neil, artist Dick Giordano, The Batman, a Bob Kane story, old school, and a chapter 1 from The Long Halloween. Introducing Carmine Falcone. Well, not introducing, but just a chapter from The Long Halloween that discusses the corruption that Falcone has within the GCPD within Gotham.
Mm-hmm. I remember that comic. I like when they did stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep. I got it right here. Still inside the box here with my DVD.
Like I was saying about like actors, like we have Ken Watanabe right here in this very small part, but
yeah,
great caliber.
Which I've always, early on when I first saw the movie, and you get Liam Neeson's reveal of him being Ra's al Ghul at the time. Like I kind of at the time I was like, oh, so he is Ra's al Ghul. Okay, it's just misdirection. But then I think, and then over time I thought about it, the history of the League of Shadows and things like that. Like I think that, and there's no Lazarus Pit, especially once it comes to The Dark Knight Rises, and there was never any Lazarus Pit. And it was a hallucination for Bruce at the time because of him being in shock from his back being popped back into place.
Mm-hmm.
And was like, you know what? Like, I think that guy Ken Watanabe he was Ra's al Ghul. He was the leader at the time, and then Ducard took over the role as Ra's al Ghul. It's the only way possible. In this version of the story, that Ra's al Ghul is the person in charge, not a specific person.
And like, here's a perfect example of what do you call it? I don't kill, but I'll put everyone in like immortal danger and blow up stuff to save one person's life while people may be dying in the background, but I won't kill that one dude.
So many of these guys are dying. I mean, things are exploding. They're flying off of bridges, and we saw the training. You know, if you fall off those things, you could freaking die. And I mean, that whole building exploded. I mean, the whole thing might as well have just blown up off the side of the mountain and crumbled off the side of the cliff.
Oh, that always looks so painful.
Oh yeah, that definitely looks like it hurts.
I'm always like,
If you didn't dislocate your shoulders, both of them, you probably tore both of your pectoral muscles, and like you're just useless.
I just noticed, like, that's the first time I've ever seen this, like, where the Liam Neeson part, I could tell was a stuntman. Like, the quick shot right there.
Yeah.
I love this line. I don't remember what podcast that was I heard talking about. I think it might have been Movie Film, where he's like, "I'll tell him you saved his life." Thank you. Who are you? Like, tell him Bruce saved his life. You know what I'm saying? Like and then here we have like there is no time wasted in shots. Like, you know, here he is walking to Alfred. And there's Alfred. And I love Michael Caine as Alfred.
Oh yeah. I love Michael Caine, period.
Yes.
He does a really good job as Alfred.
Don't mind if I look.
I think, you know, one thing is casting of Bruce Wayne and Alfred, I think, always needs to be a very you have to cast them together. I don't think you could cast them almost separate, because you need an Alfred and a Bruce that have a certain dynamic that work together. I think this Alfred and Bruce is more father-son. I feel, you know, the Alfred and Bruce combo that we got on Gotham was great, and it was more father-son, or like uncle and son kind of thing. I think the vibe we get from Affleck and Irons is more like a kind of like brotherly, mentorly family, you know, than just like I love the line of Alfred right here about, what do you call it? About protecting myself, sir. 7 years. All right, 7. So that puts him about 23. He's 29 right now. So about, like I said, 22, 23-ish, you know, when he disappeared. I love that. He's like, I love the line where he says about him being dead. And he's like, good thing I left everything to you. Now here's a great shot of like New York. That's supposed to be Gotham. And then we have Jonathan Crane. The ever amazing, creepy
Cillian Murphy.
Yes. He is amazing. I love him as Crane. Yeah. I love that we have Victor Zsasz right there. Like, just dropping in a character we know from the comics without being, like, forced. Like, he's just there.
Yeah. And I like they got a few scars on him, you know. So he's comic accurate.
Yeah.
Man, this actor, you know, Cillian Murphy, like, he's fantastic in everything. Yes. He almost seems so young in this, and then like you watch him in like Peaky Blinders, and you know him being the boss and him being older. Like, he's so good.
Did you ever watch his audition?
No.
For Batman? It was on one of the special features. Get on YouTube and see if you can find like the Batman Begins auditions. There's him. There's Eon Bailey, who I've only seen him in one thing. Him auditioning for this, and then Christian Bale's, and they used the Batman Forever cowl for the audition process.
So, Bale's version, and I liked it so much when it came out, but in the grand scheme of things, like I said, and it's not like I don't like him at all. You know what I mean? Like if I say he's fourth on my list, I mean he's still incredible, and he's in a great series of films. Whether you nitpick at him or not, he's still he's such a good character. He was probably kind of one of the first, and not the first, because Adam West did it as Bruce Wayne in the 66 show. You know what I mean? Where he did things as Bruce Wayne to further his crime fighting as Batman. You know what I mean? But this was really one of the ones that really showed you that as Bruce Wayne, he's still doing he's still doing the detective thing. He was in the room there. He was looking at cops, he was looking at Jim Gordon. He had a picture of Jim Gordon because he's scoping people out. Later on during his drunk scene and stuff, like he's playing a part as Bruce Wayne. Like he is Batman, and that's his life, and that's all that matters to him. And the part of Bruce Wayne is more of the mask.
Yes.
That everything he does in and out of the costume, in and out of the cowl, is to further his goals as Batman, to improve his city, even as Bruce Wayne, to improve his city through Wayne Enterprises, and to protect people and to get information for his goals as Batman, for his mission.
Yeah, I mean he's that's always the thing, is like Bruce is really the mask. Batman is just the person, is who he really is, and the mask is just there. But
yeah, that's one of the things that kind of separates Superman and Batman. Bruce Wayne sort of ceased to exist, and he became Batman. He's always Batman, and now over the years, he's still Batman, but he's kind of been allowed to grow into a person. He's allowed to mature past that, and he's still not Bruce Wayne, quote unquote. He is still and always will be Batman, and which is the idea they used for Batman Begins, that when Bruce retired and he was in seclusion, Batman Beyond, when Bruce retired and he's in seclusion, he's only trying to make the city better, but he's still Batman. Like even that one episode where he thinks he's going crazy, when he realizes he's not, because he's like, I don't call myself Bruce in my head. He is Batman. That's who he is, essentially. That's what it boils down to.
I love this. This is where he arrives in the office and he's like, "Who's here to see Mr. Wayne?" He's like, "Bruce Wayne."
Hey, it's what's her name? It's Lynn from Black Lightning. It's Lynn Stewart.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Black Lightning's wife right there.
What? It is straight up.
Yep, she's legacy casting, but pretty much
she is. That one dude on the board is Christopher Nolan's uncle. I learned that in another podcast.
Oh, really? The guy who puts his head up?
Yep.
I assume since they focused on him, he was center frame.
What do you call it? I love that. That's awesome. Because Cress Williams is legacy casting too on Black Lightning. He was in an episode of Lois and Clark as like a voodoo shaman that attacked Superman.
Right.
So that is dope.
But Superman, like who he is lies in the middle. Who he really is lies in the middle.
Yes.
Like
he doesn't have
Clark Kent in public is kind of like is a mask, because he's kind of hiding that he's trying to be less than normal,
He's
and
more of a threefold.
And then Superman is so extravagant and so fantastical. Like he lies in the middle. So he's almost never who he really is until he's like behind closed doors. He's always the same person. He just kind of leans one way or the other.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing about Superman. He's always him. He's always the same person. He just kind of leans one way or the other. It's not really an act either way. It's just one way or another. So that way he can like create separation between the two just to protect his identity. That's it.
Superman, like the Superman, is a little bit more like confident, strong. Clark is a little bit more lighthearted, and then you have him in the middle. That's why I say I like the depiction of like in Superman Returns, like think about like that. Him himself is when he's with his mom on the farm, not wearing the glasses, wearing like the farm clothes,
Exactly.
That's kind of a great version of him. Then the suit and glasses is like the Clark he shows, and then Superman, but.
Well,
we have the great
like
Morgan.
Reeves Superman. Just one minor thing on that. Reeves Superman is like an act. Like
Yes.
he is never himself. You know what I mean? He's this bumbling guy that he's really portraying so hard to be Clark, and then he's Superman. He's almost never himself.
And the older I
know?
get, the more I don't want to say I don't like it, but it's not my preferred version of Clark Kent. I don't mind a little bit of like goofiness or awkwardness. But I've always taken that the Clark is supposed to be a generic, dull guy that doesn't stand out. And if you're too goofy and awkward, you stand out.
Yeah, which I think Clark in himself is just kind of naturally socially awkward because of kind of being sheltered because of who and what he was.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So as a person, he's just kind of socially awkward, and that's just kind of the way he is. You know what I mean? But to like push that to the extremes, you stand out to be that extreme. Whereas Henry Cavill's version, he's himself, but he kind of just leans on that boring farm boy, socially awkward person.
I'm really excited to see what Tyler does because I like the little bits I've got with him in Supergirl. Dean Cain's was more Clark focused than it was Superman focused a lot.
Yeah. So I changed the pulled us away from it. We had Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox, who's like amazing. I mean, he's the voice of God.
Yes.
But like if I had somebody narrating my life, it's either him or Samuel L. Jackson, because sometimes you just need some MFers thrown in there.
I always said Tom Hanks. I want Woody, narrating.
Oh yeah. Nice.
But I love this montage of
part of the reason I wanted to talk about this movie today, on Batman Day, and the fact that we know that Matt Reeves' Batman is coming, is we've got Bruce Wayne here. We've got this grounded take. We've got Bruce Wayne here. He's putting together his suit. He's building it and making it himself to a degree. But all of this technology, the Batmobile, the tumbler, the grapple gun, the cape to glide, like all this technology developed by his company, developed by somebody else, and him appropriating it for his own purposes. The Reeves one, I think it's got a similar take, but it's, from what I can tell and from what Reeves is saying, it's going to be very different from this. It's going to be grounded, but it's also going to be very different from this. And the
it's
fact
more
that
him and Alfred.
Bruce is going, they're doing it themselves. Like, I like the idea that they're doing it all themselves. Like, they're the engineers of Batman and his technologies, at least in the early portion before things start to get really fantastical.
That's kind of the idea we got from BVS, but we're never quite sure. Because he's so
I love that too.
He's so far into his career. But, like you said, this is, he's putting it together. He's repurposing things. Like, we saw him take that suit, the prototype suit from
the prototype military suit, yeah.
And then he put his gauntlets from the League of Shadows. And I mean, I love the idea of him pulling different things and building, and then he's painting it to make it look unified, you know?
Yeah.
I love all of that, you know, but at the...
I think it's going to be a strong distinction on how it's done between this one and that movie. You know what I mean?
Yes. And like I said, like this, he almost has, you know, he relies on the Wayne Enterprises a lot. This one definitely, I think, shows Batman in the grounded sense of he can't do it all on his own as much as he tries. Like, he is relying on Wayne Enterprises, Lucius Fox, Alfred.
Yeah.
You know, I always like this, you know, he's in the suit. Gordon, he's like,
That's a lot.
and Gordon's like, freeze. He uses the stapler.
That freaking jump, man. That's got to hurt.
Yes.
That's got to hurt so bad.
Even with that suit on, like, yes, and the ski mask. Like, I love and hate the ski mask. 'Cause it's like, that's like you, because I mean, we know he's in the process of building a better mask because we saw him talking about.
Well, you know, with year one, he's got that snow cap on, but then he
Jumping.
puts on some makeup and he puts on a big old scar and everything.
I like this. He's like, what is it today? More spelunking? No, base jumping, lightweight fabric.
Yeah.
I have just
Like,
the
you
thing.
plan on running into much gunfire in these caves?
I feel like how Lucius. He's like, I don't care. He's like,
Yeah.
this is so cool. Like, I love that. Like, we just
I
have
do
the
like when they
exposition
talk.
of him talking about what things are and how they work.
Yeah.
And why.
Which was really cool. It was really awesome when they did this at the time. You're like, yeah, he owns this stuff. I mean, sure. But is he just so lucky that he's got Lucius Fox in his company who designed this military suit, who designed this lightweight fabric that he can create a friggin' cape and do like gliding and stuff with? Like, you know, it's
I love the idea that Bruce is smart and he's intelligent. Hold on, pause. The tumbler? You wouldn't be sure than that. I love this room. Like, just
I'm
this
interested
big-ass
in
room.
that. I would friggin' drive that sucker around.
This big ass room that is in Wayne for, is it a parking lot? Is it just, what is this used for? Multi-purpose room for testing, like an R&D, like.
Right. Well, it's like your crash test dummy warehouse.
Yep, it is.
You know.
And that was just parked in the, like, underneath.
I love this though. Like, he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm inside. I'm gonna hit that button. I like that curiosity that he has, and that just go for it attitude.
I want to know how this thing made a bridge. Like, I want to see. He's like, never could get the bridge to work, but until it come in black. I wanted to see how he drove that thing out of there. Like, you know, like,
Right. I think it sticks out on the street.
yeah, he'd have to hurry
mean-
quickly.
That thing's big. I mean, it's bigger than a Hummer. You know.
The one thing I don't like about the Tumbler is the fact that you never call it the Batmobile. It's always the Tumbler. Mm-hmm. It's like you say, like the Keaton Batmobile or the Kilmer or the Forever, you know? Like, you always have to use who Batman or what movie or the Affleck Batmobile because, you know, it's the same Batmobile for 3 movies. But this is the Tumbler. Like, it has its own name, but it never feels exactly like the Batmobile.
Right.
I love that. The
I
graphite
mean,
breaks it.
after it gets hit by a freaking missile, it becomes the Bat Pod.
Yeah, that gets a name. Thank you. But I love right here just the scene of him putting that ear device we saw him using into the cowl. We see him like clipping to use the belt away from the harness. Like, just really, like you said, the repurposing, that him playing with here with the gloves and the fabric. Like, it really is
Yeah.
like, I love, it really is the concept of Batman beginning.
Yeah,
But I hate the title of
I
this
do
movie.
like the ingenuity he's using to, like you said, repurpose it for what he needs it for. And generally speaking, I mean, you know, starting off, that's what you would be doing is repurposing things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But designing your suit, designing your cowl, building it from scratch,
We'll come back
you
to that
know,
battering in a minute.
things like that, like. I think it's what's that?
We'll come back to the Batarang. I just wanted to state something.
Yeah, I just I like to see that like in the early stages. I'm interested in seeing that. Let me put it that way. I'm interested in seeing that from the early stages where he doesn't just get all of this technology that allows him to have this high-tech bat suit. You know what I mean? It's something that he pieced together. I'm interested in seeing how they do that differently.
It wasn't a one and done
in this film, because I really loved how I saw in BVS Jeremy Irons working on the Batmobile, working on the cowl, doing the soldering, the little electronics and stuff like that, testing the microphone for the voice modulator. You know, it really gives you a sense of Bruce and Alfred
as a team.
Are a team, and they work on this stuff together. The drone mode in BVS, you know what I mean? They're a team, and they had to have designed that program and things like that. They had to have been able to design and train for freaking Alfred to be able to fly the bat plane in drone mode remotely from the chair in the cave. This is the best scene of the whole movie.
Yes. This is very ninja. This is him. I love him taking people out one by one. Like just kind of the...
And we're back to the Batarang. What were you going to say about the Batarang?
It's just, okay, so it's interesting to me. Like
hanging upside down is so cool.
Yes. He uses that Batarang. He uses that bat symbol. Like it's in the marketing. Like he created that right there. You know. But why is that not the bat that's on his chest? Much like the Michael Keaton suit, the chest emblem has a different bat symbol than what was used for all of the promotion and marketing. Because in the next film, because like that bat symbol is the Bale Nolan Dark Knight bat symbol. Okay, it's what they use on the actual bat signal. It's what's on his chest in the next film. But why isn't it on the suit in this movie? I like the bat that's on the suit in this movie, and I'm almost surprised they even put a bat on the suit itself in this movie. But it is a different bat emblem. Here. I love that. Like we just see his face upside down.
Where are you? I'm here.
Here's your fight scene, like your style.
Yeah. Like I said, it's like the point of it was when they talked about it was like they got the camera like they're inside of the fight, like you're involved in the fight, you're moving around with Batman, but it's so quick and so many cuts and so close and such shaky cam, it's hard to see any of the real action. It's just like guys are dropping left and right, which is cool, which is Batman, but you want to see that, you want to see him drop them.
Mm-hmm. I love the sound of him like on the car crawling and he just pulls him up, and then we get it. I'm Batman. I love his voice in this. Like his bat voice in this is perfect.
It really goes. Yeah, he really goes overboard with it by the Dark Knight.
Nice cool. I love his look. And then here's Gotham. See, even Gotham like it's shot a little darker and everything right here. Her on the train. Like the public transit.
So, I mean, the Dark Knight suit adopts that Batarang logo on the chest, you know? But, yeah, just they use it for the logo in this film, but then it's not utilized as his chest piece anyways until Dark Knight. The taser, that's funny. Luckily it's insulated. Still could have electrocuted him. I like how he does his research here. Leverage, blackmail. You know, blackmail is fear. You know, Blackmail is fear, scaring these people back into doing what they're supposed to be doing. You know, not just, you know, it's having the corruption and doing everything for money. Now they're being controlled into having to do the right thing, what they should be doing, especially in their position of power, like the judge. And that frickin' spotlight, man, Falcone would be dead. He'd be like cooked. Like that wouldn't work. And I like the faux symbol in the sky like that. And it'd have to be a pretty cloudy sky for it to even show up on the clouds like that.
Oh yeah, I love this. Just the ominous, like, perched on an actual
He'd be
location.
cooked. He'd be dead. He'd be dead on that spotlight. Yeah, that's really cool. That was this right here, just as a shot. I was like, that is so incredibly Batman. I love it. Like,
where have this been in every Batman?
Right? Like, that has never been in anything. I mean, granted, you get the scene at the end where Batman is standing up, but that's just, he stands up on the side of the building or whatever, and then it cuts to black. Like, you don't actually get Batman perched over his city looking down, especially like, and it's really cool because it's the first night of him being Batman. It's his first night out, and he took down Falcone, got him with the drugs and stuff, and he's standing over his city for the first time as Batman.
I love Gordon, just like the idea and the realization that this city is so corrupt, and like the cops, the judge, everyone that we need is so corrupt that we have to, the idea of a vigilante crime fighter is what we need. Okay, like, I want to know how, like, the bruises are interesting, because I get he's going to have them, but, like, just what bruises he has, I'm like, what was that? I'm like, I saw you beat up people, Batman. How does Bruce Wayne spend his money, his time? What do you want me to do, Alfred?
Is that like how those bruises on his ribs, though? That's from when jumping from a few nights ago.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be able to do that, fall into a push-up like that. I think I'm too heavy for that now.
I was just kind of like,
might hurt my wrists.
I was just kind of wondering, like, is that how James starts his days now? Like, how James starts his mornings? Like, this is just an example of how you start. Your
need to roll out of bed and start doing push-ups again. I need to. I'm getting old. Getting old and lazy.
Yep. Me too.
I blame stress and coronavirus.
I blame stress.
F COVID.
Yep.
F 2020.
That's like, all I want to do is, like, my favorite like meme picture right now is the scene from The Grinch where he just says stress eating and he just has the giant bowl of spaghetti just shoving it in his face. I'm like, I feel like that's my life, because I'm just like stress confident.
No, I can't blame 2020 for that. That's all me. I take responsibility.
So here's our first, like, big Bruce Wayne scene. You know,
you should see my other one.
The two girls, the restaurant.
Two girls in a two-seater. You have to have them sitting on each other's lap.
That's not exactly legal, but he's Bruce Wayne.
Right? Oh, you know what? This is totally random, but it just kind of made me think about it. Because last weekend, we were watching, me and my friend, we were watching the Back to the Future movies. She'd only seen the first one. She had not seen 2 or 3. So we ended up watching all 3 of them. And in the first one, you know, when the cop is like, what you got under there? Special weather equipment? And he says, special weather equipment, this and that. Mm-hmm. And he's like, do you have a permit for that? And Christopher Lloyd's like, yeah, I do. And he climbs down, and he's got this look on his face. You know what I never noticed?
What?
He pulls out his wallet and pays the cop off.
Really?
He pulls out his wallet to pay the cop off and walk away. I always just assume sure, but I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, no, how would he have a permit? It's not legal. It's a friggin' time machine. And then he pulls out his wallet as the camera is panning down to Michael J. Fox putting the letter in his coat.
I'm going to go watch
He pulls
that.
out his wallet. He's paying off that cop.
I've never thought about it. I just always thought he had like a fake permit or something. I'm going to watch that.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. I was like, that's the first time I ever noticed that. Just the idea of I'm Bruce Wayne, I can do what I want. I can bribe this cop. You know what I mean? Not that he would, but yeah, I was like, no way. That's hilarious.
And here's Bruce here's Bruce, talking to Rachel. Like the tragedy is like he can't be himself in front of her like he wants to. He's trying.
Yeah, I like this. This was really good. This part here, like he wants to tell her. She's his oldest friend. He wants to tell her, but he knows he can't. Especially after he saw her the night before, giving her the leverage and the blackmail. Which he's using fear. He's scaring those people into doing what they're supposed to be doing because he's blackmailing them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I like Christian Bale as Batman, Bruce Wayne. He's, like.
Oh yeah,
top three.
I mean, there's not one that I don't like. Obviously, Clooney's on the bottom of the list, but even he had his moments, and it was mostly his Bruce Wayne moments, not his Batman moments.
Right, and a lot of it is, it's not that it's not Clooney.
It wasn't him. It was the movie.
Yeah, I'll say it's the directing, the script, and what I'm saying, we all know
directing the script, the editing. Well, we know that in the movie, like they never stood across from Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, so they're acting against a stunt body, and same thing with Arnold. Like they never stood across from each other, never really interacted in a scene.
Yeah. It's just one of those this film takes its time for its actors. They're working together. Batman and Robin. We all know that you can be a great actor in a bad movie, and it's not. You're given what you're told. You know what I'm saying? And we've all seen it. I mean, come on, Ewan McGregor is the best thing about the prequels, but we know that Ewan McGregor is an amazing actor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love this. When he pulls out the Scarecrow mask, he's talking to Falcone about using it in his experiments, and just the look in his eyes.
When did the nut become? When did the nut take over the nut house?
And then he hit that fear gas, and I love the camera work and everything for just under the Scarecrows. And I think they have the right. Another great Batman perch shot. They have the right, and there's so there's Gordon's wife, Gordon's child. I am it's so crazy how comic books get so screwed up. Was that James?
I'm going
Jr.?
to grab coffee. Keep going.
For all you listeners out there, I love this Batman perched on Gordon's, talking to him at his house. He took out the trash. It's always just fascinating to me the fact that you have the confusingness of Barbara Gordon, his wife, and then you have Barbara Gordon, his daughter, and then sometimes it's his niece that he has to adopt. It's so confusing. First time Batman disappears on Gordon. Flask in the rain in the Narrows. And I think this is all set. And I think that's why I like this Gotham here. Is just, it's a little bit more of... I like falafel. That sounds good. Man, there's a place up by the comic book shop that has great falafel. It's a 40-minute drive, though, by that comic book shop. Swear to me. Where are the other trouts going?
The Dark Knight Returns.
Swear to me. This is before everyone knows that Batman's no kill rule, so he has a little bit more power. I always thought it'd be kind of interesting if, like, Batman, like, he pulled some stunts on some criminals where, like, he had, like, Robin or Nightwing or someone dress up and, like, they fake, like, they're one of the thugs, and Batman throws them off a roof and kills them just to freak out all the criminals. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, he's killing people now. Like, but yeah, he's really not. So, like, it just makes it scarier. But like I was saying,
it would be funny. The criminals are already dead. He's there after the fact and throws a body off. Batman threw a guy off the roof and killed him. He's already dead. It's just to prove a point and strike fear in you guys a little more.
I love this just right here. This scene of, like, there's the district attorney, and, like, just even the dock people are corrupt. Like,
yeah, don't want to know what's in Mr. Falcone's crate.
Hell. It's the cop. Like, there's the Narrows that they steal for Arrow later as the Glades, but whatever. That is all, like, this is sets, and that's why I think I like this one. Is like it just feels different. With the city look of the Narrows is much different than Gotham. And, much like we got in Burton's Batman, of just, like, it was trying to be that, but it just looked so small. Look, Joffrey.
Yeah.
I just love it, like, the idea of, like, the kids seeing him and just being so excited.
Right.
And I love Batman's just like, here. But I was saying, like, it's so confusing in Batman lore how you have Jim Gordon, and then you have James Jr., his son, then you have his wife Barbara, and then their daughter Barbara, but then sometimes it's his niece Barbara that he adopts, and then sometimes we don't know his wife and he has a daughter named Barbara and there's no Jim. So I mean, like, it's so confusing.
Well, this is completely its own iteration. This isn't a young James who grows up to grows up to be a serial killer. I love that. Wham!
I love how he just pulls out a lighter. Oh, I just love this. Like, the Scarecrow immediately, he's got his mask on, just throwing alcohol on him. He's scaring him. Crane looks great with just the Scarecrow mask. Sets him on fire.
It's really cool. I like the fact that he has the Scarecrow mask and stuff, but I mean, that's all it ever is. It's some fear toxin and it's the mask.
Yeah.
Anything else? I mean, the iconic shot of him in the straitjacket on the horse later on is really cool. But
Very
I mean, that's
Nights.
just pulled. Yeah, that's just pulled from a comic, just to get a kind of a comic book shot in there. Because as it is, this movie only has so many comic book shots.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's not like the principal thing about this film or about any of the Nolan films. Is the comic book shots. Yeah, they're there, but yeah, it's just not the way the movie shot. There's so many close-ups and everything.
It's interesting, just like.
But then also the suits and the costumes, like Scarecrow didn't have one; he had a mask.
I love that look on Alfred's
stick.
face of just like he's afraid of how just afraid that Bruce is. But Scarecrow, like, I think Scarecrow, I don't know. I think you could do a film with Scarecrow as the main villain. It's your birthday. He's an interesting character to like lead a whole film. Weaponize an aerosol form. You're not in the wrong clubs, Mr. Wayne. I love that Alfred.
You know, people handing around the weaponized hallucinogen. Sounds like my kind of party.
I just wanted to know how hard it was.
Maybe when I was like 21, but
You're pulling gas yourself again, Mr. Wayne? Well, you know. I like how he's still trying to play.
Morgan Freeman's so good.
I just love how he's still trying to play it up. You know? Like, yeah. Alfred, always a pleasure. I love their, working together. And Bruce is like, he's a little hesitant that Lucius is this close, but the thing about this Batman I like is he does a lot on his own. He is very intelligent, but he is not the Batman of like, 12th level intellect. I can do everything. Like he is human.
Yeah, he's not Batgod.
Yeah, like he does need help. Like he has Lucius help him. He does need assistance. Lucius is doing part of it, and I love that look on his eyes when she answers her phone. Like he is paying attention. What's wrong? So, Argo's in the Narrows. I was kind of sad that we never got the idea of like the new Arkham. But I always like that Arkham's old. I'm like,
I kind of like the idea that in like, what was it, Gotham Knights? That was the animated movie.
Uh-huh.
That took place, loosely in between this and the Dark Knight. How like the Narrows was walled off and it was like damn near an Arkham City.
Mm-hmm.
But that was it. You never saw Arkham again.
We never see the Narrows again.
Yeah.
I love that, how we see him get into the cave with the piano. And there's another podcast, and we kind of missed this part. Like
I was gonna say that was a Michael Keaton thing. He did that in one of his movies
to just show that
Didn't he?
Waynes, yeah, the Waynes have always been. Oh, I love that shot of opening up to the suit. But it's like the middle of the day. See, there's that bat symbol. I love that bat symbol. Why was it never used? But the Waynes have always been a family about helping people. They always have strived to do more. Like Waynes were trying to free slaves, the Underground Railroad. So he's repurposing, this cave and everything that had once helped people for another way of helping people.
Mm-hmm.
I love Rutger Hauer, like just one of those like great actors from the 80s, like Here Again, and then he ended up on Smallville as Morgan Edge.
Yep.
And
he can be such an a-hole too.
Oh, that's his thing. It's like,
yeah,
I'm merging you.
He's a good bad guy.
I'm firing you. Did you get the memo? Okay, one of my favorite things in life and my little a-holeness is when you use people's words against them.
Right.
So I love that there's a couple of times that
that's the type that's the type
up.
of irony I like.
Okay, so far on film, this is my favorite Arkham.
Yeah, I mean, I like the outside gothic look that we got in the Schumacher films.
Yeah, I mean, I like that shot. Yeah, the outside, yes.
But the inside here, like if a place like this went up, the breakout and everything like that, it would be pandemonium.
I love the idea that Arkham is where like Gotham hides its dark secrets. they're trying to look at they're trying to make themselves a better city, but yet this is like a monument of the old Gotham. I always like the idea that Gotham as a city is like it's a city that was built and then they just keep building on top of it. So there's like layers of the old. I hate with a passion. Okay, both in the Schumacher and then how they did Gotham in the TV show, or Arkham in the TV show Gotham, the tacky white and black striped pajamas. Like, it just makes it all of a sudden camp. As soon as you do those type of, as their suits and everything that the inmates have, you've just made it camp. I like the little bit of the images we get in Suicide Squad when they're getting the Joker out and we see Harley, like just a couple flash shots, but it's not enough to really give us a stable Arkham. So, and of course, so they're pouring stuff into the water supply. That is an ingenious plan. But at the same time, like people, like I've heard on other podcasts and people say, like, wouldn't people like boiling water have experienced like this problem if they've been doing it for a while?
Perhaps, yeah.
And it would have been kind of neat if like there was like a line of dialogue or something in here about people coming in to the hospitals with this fear, this horribleness,
Right, something they don't. Yeah, that would definitely be a mystery of like why. Why is
this is where like I feel like Crane officially starts to act crazy.
Yeah, and it's like that line right there, the Batman. That's like officially where it became a thing, not just Batman, the Batman.
It's the
why the
first time
show, why the animated show was named The Batman, and
it was the first time it's mentioned in the Nolan films because Harvey Dent says it a lot in The Dark Knight. He's like, "I'm the Batman." I love just the kind of people talking about the rumors, the looking, their fear. Crane's like, "Call the cops. Who cares? They can't stop us now."
Yeah, it's his reputation. What it's that fear. It's his reputation that he wants to scare people before they ever even see him or interact with him.
Is he real? Is he this? And I think Batman works on a great level as like this kind of, is he an urban legend?
Right. Well, it's like the beginning of The Dark Knight too, where the guy's like, "No, I don't want to do this now." He's like, "You got a better chance of winning the Powerball than running into him," but it's scaring him.
I have a Batman costume like this, Batman.
Yeah, you're gonna wear it today, Solomon?
What did you say?
He has a Batman costume of this Batman.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna be Scarecrow. So.
You're gonna be Scarecrow.
Well, I have a Bane mask, so I'll lift you up over my head and just boom, drop you on my knee.
I love this. Dr. Crane's not here right now.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Like how like when he sees him, he's all scared and everything. He looks like a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost one of the only times like they don't go too much into like the hallucinations that his fear toxin can induce. They show it a couple of times, but it's never really this prevalent thing for Scarecrow.
Right. It's just enough. It's just enough for us to understand what's going on without dipping too deeply into like a horror sense that we could get with Scarecrow. Back up. The Batman is in there. SWAT's on the way. And then there's Gordon going in on his own. Solomon likes dressing up as the villains. He said he'll be a Scarecrow. That means I'll have to dress up as Batman and fight you and Solomon. I'll be Batman from the episode of Nighttime.
That's Superman inside the bat suit.
Yes.
That's cheating.
I love that episode.
So do I. Especially when he's with Tim Drake and he's like, "You do a good Batman impression." He's a precise muscle control, and then he does Tim's voice, and he's like, "Don't ever do that again."
That's one thing I've always said. Like, I think with the character of Superman, they should explore is when he meets people of different languages, being able to speak their language.
Yeah.
Through just like education and muscle control and like.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing they did explore. Well, not explore, but hint at in Lois and Clark, that during his travels, like, he learned all these languages, he learned these martial arts, he learned these native rituals and traditions and things like that. They really touched on it. And a lot of Superman stories and most people don't understand that he has an alien brain. His IQ is off the charts. And he doesn't use it like he should, and people don't write it like he should. Like, I understand that his IQ is off the charts, but it's also he's not like, just because his IQ is off the charts doesn't mean that he excels in biochemistry and, you know, all this different stuff, like when he's trying to cure cancer, you know, and it's not working. It's because, like, even though he's super intelligent, like, he doesn't excel in these ways that make him be able to do absolutely anything.
He's got to,
you know what I mean? He's still a flawed person.
I love this. Okay, just this is straight from year one, but like the bats coming to Arkham, the distraction, him descending, like them flying up, just like this. I think it's a great iconic shot of him. Is that what you want?
I love that, how the bats just funnel down and him jumping in it. Yeah.
You want me to? You know, and like he uses it as a distraction. I love it. The bats all around. Like, I love that right there. Him running through Arkham. Like, we see inmates. And I love this suit. Like, I love the bigness of this suit. I love the way it moves. I love the way the cape looks and moves in these films. It is my favorite, like, cape because it's so lightweight compared to, like, some of the other capes that we get where they seem very heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And here's our first, like,
I brought mine.
Here's our first, like, real. Ready? Okay, over that car, over the driver's side. Okay, potential death.
Yes. Potentially. They show that the guy's alive, but
yes,
he easily could have just freaking crushed that dude's skull.
Yep.
Like, he didn't know he's alive.
Yep, because he's blinded by his desire for Rachel.
Rachel!
This, I'm telling you.
I love that Jimmy Fallon thing they did that year on the MTV Movie Awards.
Watch the, like, Batman kill counts video on YouTube when they get to here and they're like, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I mean, in this series, Batman kills more people than Ben Affleck does.
Yep, he's very reckless, but people don't want to admit that. So
yeah, just because he doesn't like intentionally cause somebody's death.
Yes.
He's very, very lax on the collateral damage, which, I mean, Batman always is. He's always caused millions of dollars in property damage.
And then Wayne Enterprises construction division is happily to help.
Right.
Take the job.
He's making dough on top of dough. He destroys it. He gets to have all the fun of demo, and then he gets to make the money by friggin' getting his construction crews to rebuild everything.
Yeah. Solomon just said that Tumblr is his favorite Batmobile.
Oh yeah.
Yep. We're watching. This is an awesome scene of trying to chase him.
Yeah, it is a really cool Batman. It really is a cool Batmobile chase scene, and the Tumbler is pretty awesome. I mean, like I said, if I had one, I would drive it. I would take up 2 parking spaces everywhere I go. I don't care. I would drive the Tumbler.
I'd be the 4 guy. You're the guy who parks in the middle of like 4 spaces. I love that. From rooftop to rooftop. The tires are just so massive; they just rip through everything. And the fact they made this thing,
those tires are freaking huge, dude. Those tires are actually like near 4 feet tall or something.
Yeah,
they were huge.
I mean, I've always said like I love the Batmobile, but like for practicality purposes, I would love to own the '66 or maybe now the new Pattinson one, to just as my everyday car. You know, I couldn't take like the Affleck mobile or the Keaton mobile just around town as my everyday car. What's it look like? Never mind.
At least tell me what it looks like. Never mind.
Did you? So real quick, in Detective 127, or 1027, have you read the short story Rookie yet?
I don't think I've gotten there. I've only gotten into like, I think I maybe read the first 3 stories.
Okay.
Oh, so you know what? I think I might be in it. Is it that one story where the person's coming up into the Gotham's, into the GCPD?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm in that story. I haven't finished it.
I like that story a lot. I think it's a really cool, like, strong story that goes with like just thinking about the city that we're going to experience in the Batman.
Yeah.
I love this. I lost him. Did they ever explain how they kind of lost him? Like, is it camo? Like, some sort of digital camo? Like, stealth? It says stealth mode, but what exactly does that mean?
It runs quiet. All the lights shut off. It's black and dark.
Yeah, there it is.
I mean, I don't see how you lose it with a spotlight and a bunch of cop cars around you.
I like how he just, like, drives, like... like, cop cars are... like, the thing is, like, cop cars are built to be tougher. You know?
Yeah.
And I love this, like, how they're kind of showing us how far Wayne Manor is supposed to be from, the city. Like, the waterfall he jumps through. Like, I love the cave. Like, I love the fact that it stays pretty much a cave. I hate that we don't really get to return to the cave too much. But I love how it is like a cave and there's stuff in there. That's such a cool shot of him gliding down to her.
I mean, I like how it's a cave and then like, but it never really evolves past there, you know? I mean, it's always a cave, but he always adds to it. He always adds technology. He always builds, you know.
I love that. Like, it must be a compound, must be absorbed through the lungs. He's quick. Smart people. Like, the dialogue is not wasted. She wakes up in the cave full of bats. How do you feel? It's an awesome shot. Where are we? We're in my cave.
My home.
I like how he's staying in the shadows and it's dark. Like, anyone... I don't have the luxury of friends. Anyone who says a mask and stuff doesn't work, okay, we're learning about how masks work this year because there's people that I see, like, I think I know them, but because half their face is covered, I'm like, maybe not. Do I know them? Maybe. They have these big, everybody wears a mask right now. Especially, like, if you wear sunglasses and a mask. Or a hat, sunglasses, and a mask. I love this shot of him taking the cowl off, and then magically the black makeup off the eyes is gone.
Right. That's one thing I'm looking forward to. They're just going to accept that it's there in the Batman. They're finally going to use that.
They did it great by him never turning around. You know what I'm saying? It's like he was and then because they bring him up with changing, or his clothes change, as if he goes getting cleaned up somewhere in the cave.
Damn right. Good. He's got a shower in the cave.
There's a waterfall.
There is a waterfall. Just steps down into the pond, takes him a quick bath. What was I going to say? Oh, you were talking about the masks. I like the little skit they did on Fandom where they had a couple of the different animated ones, and they're like, and Terry comes in and he's, none of you are wearing the right mask because their mouths are all open. That was a funny one.
I love
like
this.
how they did that.
He's like, it's not just your name; it's your father's name. You know, being like, there's more to Bruce Wayne than just you.
Yeah, I liked it where Alfred in this, you know, he's your name, your legacy is important, you know, and the legacy of your family.
He forgets what he
because
forgets
to him
that
it's
he can
only the
do.
mission.
He forgets that as Bruce Wayne, he can play into the mission. You know, like he forgets that. Like he forgets how powerful he can be, just as Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Yeah,
You know,
which is one of the big things that they're touching upon in the current run with Tynion, how influential Bruce is, even though the story is about Batman and there's very little of Bruce Wayne in the Batman books right now. Like
Yes.
he's almost never Bruce. Like he's always Batman. He's always in the cowl. But a lot of the stuff he's doing and like his inner monologue and talking about improving the city and things like that, it's all from the Bruce Wayne side. What he's actually able to do as Bruce Wayne to improve his city.
I always liked in, you know, the end of Batman Noel, where it's about the story of the guy who was working for the Joker and all this, but then at the end you see he got a job as like a security guard or a maintenance man for Wayne. And it's the fact that with his company he can create jobs. The people who are struggling in crime because they don't have anything else, he can create the means for them to get out of the poverty, to get out of that by his company.
Yeah.
You know, so he's fighting the war on a two front. And, you know, there's a lot that he can do with, you know, the Wayne Foundation, charities, creating jobs, you know,
Yeah. Which is only ever, you know, obviously, which is only ever explored in comic books and the animated series and stuff like that, because you don't have the time to really delve into those things in films. People don't see that stuff. You know what I mean? The general public, they only watch these films and stuff. They only get so little of the story, and they only learn so much about the character, and then they act like they know everything about the character, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you just don't know. Like,
I love how this woman
know?
is standing here as he says, I watched Ra's al Ghul die. And then
Right.
this guy shows up and says, and then she just walks off. Like I almost like, it's just weird. And so does the fake Ra's al Ghul, you know, but like, and right there, he says,
and like he's following her.
But no, like you're exactly right with how they don't show that. I mean, at least in BVS, we have the idea that Bruce, you know, set up the victims fund and was sending checks to people affected by the attack of the Black Zero.
Yep.
You know, so at least we're seeing that he's playing a role. We see him in his company more so than like we have one scene of Michael Keaton in his company in Batman Returns, and it's just like a weird meeting between him and Max Schreck, but he's never actually in the company. It's you know,
and then like in this, when he's involved in business, he's sleeping because he's up all night and stuff.
You know,
Which plays into his playboy persona, you know,
but he has Lucius as his inside man.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I'll be right back. My daughter calleth for me.
Okay.
Keep talking.
So, yeah, the scene where he's drinking and he's he's using this drunk persona here to try and be this irreverent playboy, that he doesn't care what these people think of him. I mean, it's for their safety, but yeah, apple falls far from the tree. Like, he's playing up the persona, but he's damaging his reputation, which early on, I mean, it would be something that it wouldn't be. And we just had that discussion with him and Alfred. Like, it wouldn't be, it's not something he would think about the lasting effects, but like over time, as Bruce is able to develop, that's why, I'd love to get a movie. Like, I love seeing Batman like so good at what he did in BVS, but it was almost too far. You know, if you got Batman in at the 5 through 8 year mark or something, where he's like in his prime, he's dealt with most of these criminals before, or, you know, just a few years in where he's getting the cities cleaned up, but then the supervillains are coming out. Like, he's Batman and he knows what he's doing, and he's in his prime, and he's doing good, and he's really good at what he's doing. I want to see that Batman, which maybe we're going to get a little bit going in further into the trilogy of Matt Reeves. So, or trilogy, or however many movies he does. I want to see a Batman in that time, 3, 5, 8 years in time, where he's been doing this. He's made mistakes, and he knows how to do the job, and he knows how to do the job effectively, protecting himself, having the Bat family around him, just getting to see a Batman in his prime. You know, we always see the beginning, we always see the origin, and it's been done very well. But I definitely want to see a Batman in his prime beyond this and before Ben Affleck's.
Right. Like,
you know, if we got to see Ben Affleck when he's 10 years into the game, as opposed to 20 years into the game, where he's already made his mistakes, and he gets to, you know, he's already made his mistakes, and he knows how to do the job and do it effectively, you know, but still running into these challenges with the villains and stuff.
Well, my thing is,
I was saying more like 3 to 5, like 3 to 8, somewhere in that period, as opposed to like 10 and beyond, you know, where you get to still see like the introduction of these villains and how it's a new challenge for him.
Yes.
Like, after he's done taking down some of the corruption and stuff, but then you start getting these villains that are there, and it's a new and it's a different challenge for him, but he's Batman, and the regular street crime is not like that big of a challenge to him, but then it's a step up, but it's beyond the origin story, and it's where he's like in his prime and he can deal with the regular stuff, and it's when it starts to escalate is when
and stab them in the
you
heart.
know, it promotes a challenge.
Walk up behind someone and stab them in the heart.
Which is funny, because he almost used it as a distraction. Like, yeah, somebody's going to pop up behind you and stab you. And it's like, no, they're going to distract you while I stab you.
Okay, this is jacked up because he said, you burned my house and left me for dead. He burned your house, but he took you to a dude to take care of you. You're leaving him burning in the house. That ain't balance.
Yeah. No, it's not. Like, and it's, you know, obviously he's got a twisted sense of
justice,
the world, of the reality of justice. Yeah.
But no, I completely agree with everything you were saying about like a Batman in his prime, like not wanting the origin. You know, like, you know, you can say the Affleck is he's been doing it for so long that he's kind of like on the outs. That's kind of the sense that we were getting, is like, this is like Batman's final stories. I want to see, and like, it kills me. Okay. It is so crazy to me that when you look at it, the Batman character is designed perfectly for television and Superman is designed perfectly for film. but yet they are always more represented in the other.
Yeah.
Superman has always had a more successful TV series, and Batman's always had more successful films.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. We had Batman 66, and you had Gotham, which is a weird non-Batman Batman show. Okay? But then we have the original Batman anthology series. We have this film series. Then we had, him pop up in BVS, and now we have the Batman. Okay? And then with Superman, we
Can't
had
even lift a bloody log.
with Superman in film, you had the original
my
4.
accent was terrible.
You had Superman Returns, and then the Man of Steel, and then of course we'll say the hybrid films, BVS and Justice League. Okay, but then you have the bad guys are burning his house, buddy, and he's escaping to the Batcave. But then look at, you had the George Reeves, The Adventures of Superman. You have Lois and Clark.
That elevator wasn't on rope.
Superboy, Smallville, and now Superman and Lois. That's 5 TV series based on Clark and his character. Yeah,
I'm hoping that the Superman and Lois series is a shorter series. I don't want it to be a 22 episode season. I mean, more Superman the better, please.
Right.
I will definitely take it. But I do not want Superman and Lois to be riddled with the dramatic irony and filler of the CW. I want it to be a 13, 16 episode season where, you get more of the arc of the season.
Right. But why do we fall, James?
So we can learn to pick ourselves back up.
You've never given up on me.
Never.
That's why
I love the way he says that.
That's why I love, this Alfred and everything. It's like he's older, he's definitely more of the father Alfred.
Right. I've been such a fan of Michael Caine though since he freaking played Scrooge in the Muppets Christmas Carol.
I think that was my first Michael Caine as well.
I think so. And yeah, he was great in that, and everything I've seen him in since, I'm like, dude, you're so awesome. Like, he is so great. And just that accent and the way he says stuff, like, nobody says words like that. Nobody talks like that.
See a great shot of the train car and the Narrows. Everybody getting to the Narrows, like.
See, now this looks like a Gotham that could possibly extend from like a Batman 89, you know what I mean? An industrialized city. But it's still got a Gotham feel to it.
I almost wish it was called
the next one in Dark Knight Rises, that's gone, flat out.
I almost wish this was like old Gotham. Like they called it like as if like this was the original city.
Oh, you mean like
Gotham
the Birds
Village.
of Prey, New Gotham?
Yeah, like Neo Gotham from Batman Beyond. Like the idea that maybe this was like Gotham Village, like this is when the settlement was first made, and then they started building the city out around it. And the idea that this is like the last remnants of what the city used to be, or something.
Like the Court of Owls catacombs are below this section of the city. At least began, and then they've expanded.
Can we please get some like court reference? Like, I really want to see them represented in live action correctly, because you can't.
I wonder if. So
please,
I
Matt
didn't
Reeves.
notice it. Yeah, I didn't notice it, but I heard, and I got to rewatch the trailer. That and I think it's a minor tease. Because I think we were told that it wasn't a court guy who was like on the stairwell when Batman's ziplining up because somebody thinks they saw a white mask or something. But it's such a small detail that when he opens up that card from the Riddler the first time, there's an owl on that card. I never noticed that. I wonder if that isn't like the tiniest little hint that maybe the Court of Owls could have something to do with either the film or the series.
Or they're the villain in the background.
Yeah, like plant the seeds in this one, tiny bits here and there, but you don't actually see the court until the next one. But from some of the description of the movie, I think it's possible that there could be this underlying organization like the Court of Owls in Reeves' series.
And they're better, like, in their, like, organization. I love the music right here as he suits up. I love suit-up scenes, okay? Like, I just love that scene of him suiting up and with the music. The music's just so different for this movie, but it works so well. We need all city's riot cops are on the island with you.
Right.
No one's...
So, I like how, you know, Zimmer did the score for these films.
Scarecrow.
I like how when it came to BVS, you know, he's like, I just did Batman, you know, and that's when he brought in Junkie XL and handed it off to him to be able to develop a new score for a new Batman.
Exactly. That's what you need to do, Elfman.
Yeah, right.
I love that. Like, it gives me chills every time. Like, there's no one left to send in, and then you just behind him, the tumbler, you know, goes right to the arrows to help Gordon.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing, you know, especially in this first outing, you know, this first time as Batman during this big event thing, you know, it's like everybody's incapacitated. There's nobody left, and Batman's like, "Here I am."
I love that she takes Scarecrow out because it just works.
Yeah, she tases him in the face too.
I love that the horse. He has the horse, you know, that it's iconic, but it makes sense because it was a police horse. You know, like,
right? Yeah.
Like I said, like, I love how there's Zaz. I love how there's just enough horror-esqueness with the Scarecrow without going too much in this.
Yeah. It works for this, but next time I see a Scarecrow, like, Gotham did Scarecrow really good.
Yes.
Like he was one of the better parts of the show, or at least one of the better characters, you know.
Next year we're gonna explore.
I love the way that guy, I can't remember the name now, but I love the way the guy played the Riddler. Like, he was really good, but the one thing I didn't like was like the split personality aspect of the character.
That's what killed.
I was like, that was a little weird. That kind of killed the character because he was.
Smith?
Sounds right, yeah. He was so good. He was amazing, and then they did that split personality storyline. I was like, like, you kind of damaged the character a little bit there. Like, instead of him being this narcissistic person, like, and you know, this puzzler, like, they created that.
You know what I just thought about?
Reveal to her right here.
That scene is kind of the same, like, if you look at callbacks to when he reveals himself to Gordon.
Yeah.
You know, because he says something. He doesn't tell him who he is. He says something, and then he leaves. And she says, Bruce. And in the Gordon scene in Dark Knight Rises, he says something, and then Gordon goes, Bruce Wayne?
Right.
You know, like... And I think that's the beauty of a filmmaker getting to craft a... look, he's wearing a mask. Good job, Ross. What do you call it? Getting to craft their trilogy. Their vision, you know, and really getting to tell their story. And I look, you know, films like we've talked about before, films are so much more of like an Elseworld type
Very
tales.
well. Here's 4. So they didn't really go into it too much in this, but like when Bruce trained in places, over the years that he did, you know, when he trained with different senseis and stuff, he always excelled. He always became the best student, you know, and like they don't really go into that in this. But it's kind of, I guess it's kind of a little hint there. I can't beat 2 of your guys. Well, here's 4, and I'm still going to take out 4 of them.
Yes.
But, I mean, that always caused him trouble over the years, being the outsider at these different dojos and stuff, and being the best, excelling.
I kind of wish that in Gotham, the series, that we would have gotten after the first season, or maybe in the middle of the first season, we got the departure of Bruce Wayne and Alfred. And then while the story of Gotham goes on, we get little episodes or scenes or a secondary storyline that's not connected of Bruce on his travels. I always like the idea of, you just say, Bruce undercover with a different identity goes trains with this sensei. But it's always under the table kind of thing. I always thought the idea of Bruce joining and training with an acting troupe. So that he could perfect the character of Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Learning how to create, Michael Chekhov style, the theory of acting to embody the Bruce Wayne that he's going to reemerge as. And the animated series gave us the episode where he trained with Zatara, and learned and worked with Zatara for a while.
To learn how to escape bonds and stuff.
So, we have this storyline going on congruently with, Gotham. We have Gordon and the city dealing with things. But we have Bruce off on his journey, learning... Bruce. In learning his life, his craft, so that he can reemerge as the Batman. Oh, here comes the Batgirl.
So, yeah, They just touch on it in this, his time learning about the criminal underground, and the only training he gets is at Nanda Parbat. I mean, they say that you've trained and stuff, but they do skim through it pretty quickly, and I think that's something that's definitely missing from Batman in TV, Batman in animation, Batman in live action. Obviously a Batman show would be now, but you would get flashback episodes that deal with what he's dealing with now. Maybe kind of
in the Arrow sense, when he got the island flashbacks, we would get studies of his in the past that helped with what the current case he's doing now.
Yeah, or somebody he dealt with back then, somebody who hated him from his time with the sensei because of, his exceptional talents and exactly. Definitely not to the degree of flashbacks of freaking Arrow.
Right, no. God no.
But once in a while you get either flashbacks or you get a few episode arc, and you deal with the current thing, and then the next episode is the flashback episode where you get the entire episode is dealing with the time before, and you get to see more of that training, and then you get a resolution episode, like a 3-parter or something.
I was thinking about the animated series episode with Kyodai. Or Kyoto, where he wants to learn the ninja, wants to learn that secret touch.
Right.
I think about that. So, what you're saying about being the sensei's favorite, and he always used a different name and tried to create a different kind of character when he studied, so that people wouldn't know he was Bruce Wayne, wouldn't know exactly who he is.
Right. Was it a story in the Gotham Knights animated one? Because it's been years since I watched that one. It was never really my favorite.
It was in
but
Batman.
where he's and I'm pretty sure it's very anime style. That's why I'm thinking it's that one. But where he's training with a woman for pain and different things like that, and he decides to fight the people who are attacking her and stuff. And she won't do it, and he decides to fight, and she's like, yes. Well, you've learned all you could learn from me, and she stops training him because he fought back.
Maybe it was. I do remember that one. I watched so much stuff, I can't remember everything, but yes, I do remember that. I just want to say, just that line, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you, is basically killing him.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is one of the things I think is full and wholeheartedly Batman, though. Like Crisis on Two Earths, when there's two things in that one. Oh, it's Johnny Quick and Owlman when he's fighting Owlman and he leaves Owlman and sends him to Earth Prime to die with the bomb, and then when he purposely says that the Flash could not vibrate fast enough to open the portal or whatever, and he does it purposely so Johnny Quick will do it knowing that it's going to kill him.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Batman is able to he takes the responsibility of being able to make those hard choices and live with the guilt of doing that by protecting his friends and allowing the bad people to die of their own accord.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or die because of collateral damage, like the guy in BVS who has the grenade. You know, you pulled out a grenade, you pulled the pin. Sorry. You know what I mean?
I love this, like where he basically pulls the crap on Mr. Earl.
Yeah, this is a really good part. I love this ending.
Right, Mr. Fox? Right you are, Mr. Wayne. Didn't you get the memo? Bam! Boom!
Didn't you get the memo? And he's got that look too that just Morgan Freeman could have, like boom, right on you. I got you.
Boom, shakalaka.
Mic drop.
So, sorry I didn't tell you, Rick. Coming up here in just a minute is one of my favorite shots of this movie, because it definitely shows you that this Wayne Manor is filmed at a different location, nowhere near Gotham City.
Well, you're gonna have to point that out so I can.
Once I tell you, you'll always think of it like, dang, Tyler was right.
Right.
But, you know, Bruce, he has his company, you know, back. It's kind of, and, you know, if any of these films, you're talking about being grounded and fantastical, I think The Dark Knight is the most grounded. The Dark Knight Rises is the most fantastical. And I'll explain that statement one day when we watch that one, because we like to watch things out of order.
Yes, we do. No, when we do our commentaries, we do them in order.
Not this one. We already did The Dark Knight for our Joker retrospective.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We did.
But honestly, I think there's a uniqueness to watching this film and then watching The Rises right behind it. Because Rises really connects back to this movie tight. And you can almost skip The Dark Knight. It's the outlier of the series.
Yeah.
Because
it does bring it full circle, but
yes,
some of the choices made are questionable.
Yes. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It brings it full circle. It ties tighter into this movie. Right here, this shot, right there. Look at that. Farmland, everything. You see a city? Right there.
Right.
Behind him right there, behind her right there. Look at all that. Look at all that beautiful farmland. That countryside. Because think about the car chase he had with the police to get to Wayne Manor. Okay? Like, it didn't seem that far because he took that off-road and everything. So, boom.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of makes sense. I mean, you know, where Wayne Manor has almost always been pretty far outside of the city. The chase does make it seem like it's closer. That's for sure. Especially since how rushed he is and everything, how fast it happens. But it's always been like a drive out to the middle of nowhere. Batman 66 to that cave in the hill.
Right there,
Batman
that shot
89,
right there.
Let's
go clear.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a city around unless it's on the complete opposite side.
That's why you pay attention when it was like doing the reverse angle with her. But it's like, brick by brick, sir? Same? What do you have in mind?
Well, it's like when you look at out across the bay in like Arkham City or the Arkham games, when you look out across the bay and you see Wayne Manor out on a hill in the middle of nowhere, you know what I mean? There's nothing there.
I love the idea of like the Wayne Manor looking out, over. We can bring Gotham back. I love how Jordan made the bat symbol or the bat signal. Like, was inspired. He did it himself. He's like, couldn't find any mob bosses.
Yeah.
And then right here, this last moments right here sets up the next film. Now take this guy. Double homicide. Taste for the theatrical like you. Music calling card. Do you remember being in the theater and people losing their junk?
I did too. I was like, oh, that's like Batman Year One, and I was like, oh, the Joker's going to be in the next one, and I mean, I was expecting a Joker. Obviously not a Joker like Heath Ledger's, but I was expecting a Joker to kind of exist in the world and the Gotham that they built here. You know? But then it was completely different.
I love the credits. There's Bat Sayla. Hi, Bat Sayla.
Don't give away her secret identity.
But yeah, that was Batman Begins. Just a great Bat film, a great time on this lovely Batman day.
Good way to start. Batman Begins. We begin Batman Day with Batman Begins.
Exactly. but exactly with what you're saying is the whole concept of the Joker, like the Joker that we got was not the Joker that I wanted. But it doesn't mean I don't really like it, the Joker we got. Because I wanted a little bit more straight comic book, and it taught me to kind of think a little bit more adaptationally. That's a word I just made up. About
I think it gets the point across.
Yeah, of how to approach these characters and these things. So, I really, I appreciate this film a lot. I love this movie. I can't believe it's been 15 years.
Right. Yeah, like I couldn't picture Heath Ledger's Joker in an amusement park.
No, because he's
or in a chemical plant as a hideout,
Yeah, it's a completely different take, but it still works. The fact that it's the makeup, compared to
it's the makeup and the scars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it all works. It all makes sense. And one thing I loved about The Dark Knight after this was just the fact that the movie starts and he's wearing the same costume, and it's him finishing the work from this movie.
Right.
He's
going after Scarecrow. He's been out doing his thing. Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Right. So I know I didn't speak a whole lot on it. I mean, I love that Scarecrow is in this movie, and I love that he keeps coming back. And his concoction was the driving force for the plot and everything, and how it all connected and stuff. And I think he was used really good. I can't wait to see a very horror-esque Scarecrow in the future sometime.
And next year, to prepare for like the Batman, I think we're gonna like I'm doing some searching now. We're gonna do like a Gotham look back and kind of like watch a couple selected episodes of different characters to just discuss like Gotham the series, Gotham the characters, and what we want to see moving forward.
So, yeah, we're getting Scarecrow in Titans.
I know.
Doing Jonathan Crane in Titans. That's going to be awesome.
Because, I mean, I liked the Scarecrow in Gotham. Was cool. And I'm really hoping that the Scarecrow we get in Titans, like, if anybody right now can do a straight-on, more horror...
Oh, absolutely.
It's Titans.
It would be Titans.
Do it more like Arkham...
Arkham Knight or something.
Yes.
I hear that he's going to be like in prison, and they're going to be like using him. So it's like
Hannibal
Jonathan
Lecter
Crane
style.
is Hannibal Lecter from
That's
Silence
cool.
of the Lambs. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
So that's going to be really cool. But I hope that
He escapes.
he's a Batman villain. What do? They always escape. Like, I hope he escapes and we get a very nice horror element at some point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You could scare the crap out of the Titans with Jonathan Crane, with Scarecrow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Get all the Titans to like start living out their worst fears and stuff. I mean, that's right up the Titans' alley, you know?
Yep. After dealing with Deathstroke and after supposedly overcoming what they've went through. So we will see.
So yeah, hopefully, I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping they pick up. I'm hoping they accelerate a little bit. They've got the team now at the end of season 2. They've got HBO money. It's coming to HBO. It's not a DC original, you know?
Yeah, I'm hoping the production's amped up.
Yeah, I hope the production is amped up. You know, the budget is a little bit higher, and they can really push that a little bit. You know, when the budget is down, when you don't have the money, obviously it's more character driven and stuff. And they did fantastic. They did amazing at that. But sometimes you could tell, like, maybe the budget isn't there for them to do this bigger hero stuff.
Mm-hmm.
More than what they did. And now hopefully, they're getting HBO Max, and we're getting season 3, and hopefully they get to do a little bit more of something, Maybe Gar will change into something other than a tiger.
Yeah, and a snake.
Yeah. Well, he only did that once.
Right.
Other than that, he's always just been a tiger.
And we could talk more about that. But all right, well, to wrap this up, this is a 2-hour plus podcast of Batman.
And there's no scenes at the end of this. We don't have to talk through the credits.
We could have by the time we got done talking.
For sure.
But happy Batman Day. Enjoy. I'm going to read my story and do my things and just, enjoy. Maybe hit a comic shop. I don't know, because the only one worth going to is like 40 minutes away. And so.
Well, that would be nice. I don't think I'll be going to any comic shop today. I think it's all going to be here at home with what I've got.
That's kind of why I bought the
Batman
digital
66, so I've got some extra things to check out. Never watched it like
straight
from beginning. Yeah, straight.
Same. So
happy Batman Day, everybody, and go check out our Happy Batman Day social media.
Look up in the sky.
Look up in the sky.
Look at